Oh shit. Alright, let's do this. Alright, let's do this. So, King of Fighters 15. I gotta fix that thing with YouTube. I set up a stream, it just never wants to work. Let's go. Right then. Everything okay in chat? Let me check. Right then, let's do this. So, versus story training. Let's do versus mode, 3v3 or 1v1. Let's do normal. I'll pick the left side of the screen. Let's do this. So we got a whole roster here. We'll start from left to right here. Hello, Snark in the Water. How goes? Alright then, so let's get on this thing. Let's try out. Let's do Vanessa first. Yes. So this one apparently this is a weird one because it's a mix of the older King of Fighters, but it's also a little bit more accessible because I heard it's a little tiny bit of auto combo, but at the same time, I've seen videos of people who have not played KOF in a while, and the muscle memory is exactly the same. Down here. I love how little tiny details in the background, this haunted house level. Pretty fun stuff. No, don't do this to me. down, left, right. Oh, what the hell was that? Oh my god, you're kidding me. I keep forgetting, but the projectiles work a little bit different in this game. Because the big thing with this game is that they've actually added a little bit more of the air game in this. So come into the streaming drop. Alright. Oh, what? Oh my god, that hype. Because there's specials and then there's okay, that just okay. Yeah, there's specials and then there is climax move, which is like the ultra moves. But it's also easy to activate the oh god. Oh frick. Okay, with EX mode gets a bit more damage. And okay, double stick forward. I'm gonna have to kill the other stream. Not this one, down here. Yeah. No, don't. Actually, I wonder, can they actually hurt Leona? That's my question. Because sometimes, you know, characters, they don't get hurt by their own projectiles. But, yeah. Okay, I gotta quit running into that. So it's a case of 1, 2, 3. 1. Oh, come on. Kick. Counter. Member selection, yeah. The roster is pretty huge for this game. So, I mean, it looks kind of small, but if you think about it, in the middle there's 9 characters. So 9, another 9, another 9. So that's already 27. 36 here, 33. Once you get the 33 plus the other 6, that's 39 essentially. Wait, 9, 18, 27. Yeah, and then of course that's not kind of the DLC slots on the top that are yet to be unlocked. We got 2 teams confirmed, Team Gaudu and the Fatal Fury team, and then we got the other 2 coming out in fall. Let's see here. What else we got? Let's use Chris. Totally not K-pop, but okay. Who do we want? Ugh, end my suffering. I only hate this character's voice because this is the one you fight against in the tutorial. And if you're trying to pull off a move and it's not going through, you're just going to hear that yelling over and over and over. Let's try. Let's do the subway tracks. That one looks fun. Okay, where we at here? Yeah, the ones at the top are DLC characters. If you have the deluxe edition like I do, I'll get the first 2 teams the moment they drop. The other 2 will come out again in fall. But so far, the funny thing is that the leaks so far in the game have all been 100% true. So the rumor is that the other team would actually be one of the teams would actually be oh my god, it would be a Samurai Showdown team. I don't need to look at the input list, man. This man. 1 second. Okay, so right punch for that right punch, right kick. Okay, light. So just right everything. Now for the special moves, quarter circle back with the. Gotcha. Let's do this. Oh, there we go. That's what we need. Yeah, that teleport thing is just that quarter circle back and the kick. Hardest part is that these characters, when they fight me, they all like to crouch. So most of the characters that I pick, they have this aerial game, which you really didn't have in KOF. So it's, I got a character that can kick you, but come on, kick, let me kick you. There we go. Yeah, it's this game, it's the top two buttons are light punch and heavy punch. There's no medium, and there's light kick and heavy kick. Come on. Come on. There we go. Oh yeah, Venom Strike. You're a winner. Oh, thanks, yeah. I have seen API's video on low kicks. Yeah, low kicks is just, it all depends on what you want your character to do and how the game plays. Because if your game is an aerial game, like KI, where everything launches essentially, then having super sweet sweeps to make him jump high can work. But if you don't, if you want like little stubby kicks like this guy's doing here, there's no way to counter it. You can with another character, yeah. The low kicks are just kind of, yeah. It depends on the game what you're trying to do, but there's no universal system, sadly. Look at the low kicks in Tekken. All they do is just induce rage. No. Come on. Oh no! Stop. Get over here. Get over here. Come on, no. It's a setup. I didn't know it. Smash Bros. Has possible example of animation. Yeah, Smash Bros. Has great animation, and that's... Yeah, that's one of the reasons why Smash Bros. Is so popular, because that's why, even though it's a fighting game for people who can't be bothered to learn fighting games, the animation and the sound design is so well done, it feels satisfying for the most simplest of moves. You have other games like Tekken 6, I want to say, and 7 to a degree, where the animation is just okay, and the sound design is just okay, so even though you're doing this super complicated stuff, there's no satisfying pull-off. Sound design and animation are the two bigger things in fighting games that people forget. Oh, MK, all the animations look bad. Opt for utility. Yeah, MK, as much as I love Mortal Kombat, animation is its weakest aspect. Sound design is on point. Design is on point, but its animation just, holy crap. Like as a person who's trying to do animation, it moves so... That's not how you would do those moves in real life. It's just janky as hell. Like, look at Kotal Khan's kick is that perfect example of it. Abandoned theme park. No, another one again. Oops, my bad. Yeah, one thing I don't like about this one is that if you actually pick the wrong character, you have to load the stage like this and then go back to exit. It's not the end of the world, but just annoying that you can't hit the back button. Oops. Okay, let's go. Look over. Okay, so... Let's go look up. There we go. Yeah. If you got any questions about the game, feel free to ask, and I'll try my best to answer them. Other than, yo, bro, how much is it? You know how much this game is. Oh my god. Okay, I'm jumping too much. It's a KOF game. I gotta remember, jumping is not my friend here. There we go. Throw it. Oh god, no. Okay, that actually worked, surprisingly. Why is my muscle memory failing me now? Come on. Oh my god, like... Come on. Right now we're just playing that annoying spacing game that... I fell for it! Yeah, and even then, the questions, if you got any, if you just want to chat about anything, feel free to spill it in the chat. I'll take part when I can. I just picked that character that I don't really use too often. Well, struggles. Oh, well, okay. Okay. Oh, let me win or lose. Not answer your question. Answer your statement, Venom. The gun. Yes. Love special moves. Like that felt satisfying, even though it was a little wonky to do. But come on, can I course circle back forward? Course circle back. Oh, it's course circle back forward. What? Nope. It's gonna be a shortcut for this. Course circle back forward. Ugh. There we go. Come on. That's gonna kill me again. Oh, fuck. Oh, that was close. Well, a lot of striders struggle with is not only they don't really market their fan games, the basic stuff does not feel fun. I agree with the first half. I mean, yeah, they don't market them because, face it, fighting games at this point, like I said about almost every game, unless you're trying to get people who normally don't get your product nowadays, it's already going to sell to people who already like your comic. I mean, look at Elden Ring. Elden Ring doesn't have to really advertise because all the FromSoft fans are already going to go buy the game or already know about it at least. Same with Warhammer. Warhammer right now is top on Steam, and you don't have to market it. You didn't need to market it. It just sold because Warhammer fans already are keeping tabs on it. Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah. But when it comes to fighting games, that's kind of the problem. Fighting games are not like the same. So you can like games like Street Fighter, but you can hate King of Fighters. You can love Samurai Showdown, but hate Mortal Kombat. You can like Mortal Kombat, but not like Tekken. Every game's its own franchise, and there's not a lot of overlap despite a lot of these crossover characters. Yeah, I'm not good at Athena. I'll say that right now. Special moves for satisfying takes a bit to get there. When you say special moves, do you mean the level 1 kind of hyper moves, or you mean like those epic like games like the showstoppers? You mean like those special basic, like the quarter circle with the attack buttons? That's actually good. But if you mean stuff like the level 3s, or it's like here's half the screen, it's special. Like yeah, that's a little bit trickier. The strength of Sarge would be a more methodical fighter. Yes, it's a methodical fighter. As a result, every hit you don't need to know too many special combos, but not everything is gonna hurt you. Yeah. The other thing is that because Sam Show was a bit slower, you can have the game be unbalanced, so it's not a perfectly balanced game, but every character can be good at one particular thing. Let's try. Let's use Clark. Yeah, and since every character has one thing that they're really, really, really good at, they don't have to actually be great at everything. Every character doesn't have to be balanced, just to be good at least one or two things to be usable. I know I'm not a pro player. I wish I was, but I would need to put a lot more time in. Oh, I'm so used to being on the other side because of Vanessa. Oh my god. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Oh, he's talking about the special moves. Actually, if I look at this game, not mode. Command list here. It says everyone's got like their 1 or 2 or even those 3 special moves. You've got all the special moves, and it tells you with the arrows, as you can see there. You can what special can combo into the next special if you want. So it's like a skill, like a here's the option. Here's how you can make your combos longer if you want. But at the same time, if I go to the next tab, this climax super special move that you see that input there, the quarter circle back, half forward, and the heavy punch, heavy kick, that is the same for everybody. So it's not some crazy, oh, it's like Mortal Kombat where everyone has a different like stage input. It's everyone's got the same thing. But it's still a special move. It's not like Rage Arts where it's just mash all four buttons at once. And you have normal throws. And yeah, just to clarify, the blue means on the floor, the red means on the floor, and blue means in the air. So yeah, so everyone, yeah, air throws are now a bigger part of the game. And all you have to do is press left or right and hit the heavy punch or heavy kick. So let's say for this, for example, heavy punch one. It's close enough. I forgot. Okay, come on. Ground pounding? I don't think every character can do ground pounding. In Project Plus, Zelda has stuff that we've busted, especially Fox and Falcon. Like, when I think of busted, I think of Brawl Minus, because in Brawl Minus, everyone is like stupidly busted. Like, imagine Snake if you shot like 10 rockets, but they're all like lightning speed. But yeah. Yeah, every character needs to have at least one thing that makes them busted, but they can't be busted at more than two things. Unless the whole game is like Brawl Minus, where everyone is meant to be as broken in every move as possible. Anyway, there's the throw. There we go. Okay. Come on, of course, go backward. Oh, God. I'll get the special move next time. Clark, yeah, analytics. Yeah, give me a second. Just gotta do one thing here. Gaming. Is there if there's any character you want to see in action, let me know. Member selection, and I can do a couple of 3v3s in a bit. Just updating the tags on the stream, I forgot. What else is there? Okay, and I just need to pick the game. Give me a second here. There we go. Man, this is like lifeless. Kinda lifeless. It's kind of lifeless in the sense that it's not very creative. But the thing is that KOF is very much an arcade kind of thing, so they just want to give it enough breathing room. Because in the arcade days, it was literally just so many characters that like the screen was crammed with a lot of people on it. Yeah, that's the problem. Ever since KOF went to like 14, 15, it always had a hard time kind of making good character select screens. Because SNK was just always better at doing sprite-based work. Let's try... Chizuru. Oh, hold on. Let's do it first. Let's make it against... We'll go against Joe. Let's go to the Freezing Forest. Oh, Marvel reminds me too much of Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Bro! That game was, oh my god, that game. A Marvel vs. Capcom game so unbalanced that they had one extra Marvel character. And they couldn't make that look nice. Let's go. Something going on in the background. I have a feeling that they'll add something to the background once we release all the characters. God, okay, so... Yeah, I'm playing a bunch more. Yeah, I'm not playing like that super hyper, like let me get 5 combos in a row kind of thing, because... Yeah. But I agree. I think part of it also is the fact that, there we go. That's that hyper. That's a special move. Yeah. No. God damn it! I ran into that. That was my bad. Joke. Don't know. This is harder to take in. Okay. What's it here? Command list. I think Joe is supposed to be a Muay Thai in this series. Okay. Throws. Okay, so of course I get. It's the same one, but okay, so it's not in the air. Because some characters have specials where they jump, and it only works in the air. So. Ouch! Jesus Christ. So that's fine. That's good. That's good. Come on. Come on. No! Come on. There we go. Come on. Muay Thai, I think it's just because it's the grapple stance and it also looks cool to use. Doa Zack, Tekken's Bruce. Yeah, that is so true. Oh well. Why is it this me? That's not what I want. Okay, I hit the other attack button. That's the problem. Okay. Oh no! No! There we go. Got him. Okay, that's the EX, but I. SS. Yeah. How'd you get for Sagat, bro, with the eye patch? My God. Come on! I was so close. Let's do this. No. Something about the timing for the special move is just not sitting right. Like, I can do it, I just don't know why it's not coming up here. Okay, I'll do one more of these and I'll jump to 3v3s. Let's try... Go back. One. Very pretty dude. It's this is basically Shibuya. Shibuya is always under construction. The one on the right, Ash, is a dude. Yes, King is kind of funny actually. Um, if you ever played Fatal Fury, King was designed to look like a dude, but when you beat her, her shirt would tear and you'd see that it was a chick. Conversely, Ash was designed to look like a chick, but if you beat her, quote unquote, you see it was actually a dude. So yeah, and I realized they both picked the blonde purple color scheme at the minute. I was not thinking about that, but still. Come on, come on. Come on, down, back, forward, come on. Back, forward. Okay, okay. Okay, that's EX mode. That's not what I needed, but there we go. Hello, Mr. Frank Fukushima. How goes? Okay. Oh, bruh, come on. Whoa! Jesus Christ. Like, this projectile game is gonna kill me if I'm not careful. Gotta hop back. Oh no! No! Oh my god. Okay. Okay. There's gotta be something I'm not doing right with this. Max. Oh, I need... Wait. Oh, wait, what? It's... Oh, hers is in the air. Oh, that explains why I'm not getting it. So I have to be in the air when I do it, okay. So that means I have to do quarter... Okay, go. Come on, no! Oh. Jesus Christ, no, come on. It was accurate to move it. No, I'm not gonna win. Oh my god. No, I know who you are. I remember Frank. I remember who you are. Nice. Okay, so that's not... Okay, so I think I'm getting it. Just gotta fill that bar back up. Oh! No! Okay. Okay, come on, quick, second. Here we go, in the air, so... Oh, I missed it! Oh, what? It's that, that's it! That, he's basically next to me, what the hell? Oh, no. I'm doing this again with King. Come on. I'm glad SNK opted not to get an epic exclusive. Yeah, because look at it. Look at what happened to Samurai Showdown. Well, the netcode didn't help either, but almost nobody bought Samurai Showdown. The people who did get Samurai Showdown, they probably didn't pay for it. And again, it's not that they don't want to not use Steam, it's that Epic, you know, has not been the most secure with membership data. I'll put it that way. And you're not going to give your information to those who really you don't trust your information with. And what was it? By the time they released it on Steam, it was like, what, a whole year later? Not bad, but they only had three DLC characters left. But Gato came out when it came out on Steam, like, as to celebrate it. And they only had 2 DLC characters left. I forgot who the second and last one was, but everybody flipped their nuts when it was Biken, was the last DLC character. But the worst part about it was that they didn't even fix the netcode. So you had underwater... Like, it was so bad that you couldn't have a competitive scene on console. On console. And I know that the few online fights that they had were actually based on because he's Parsec doing teams this time. Tencent owns a 40% stake in Epic. Yeah, that's why people don't do it, because if Epic was just if it was just Epic, that's one thing, but because Tencent is the majority shareholder, that's part of the reason why the security is not so good, you know? It's got to work in that country. Let's see, who do I want to play? Let's do my main team out. I like her in blue. This one's cool. This one's cool, actually. The blonde tan one. I'm biased towards that, but this costume, oh my god. I don't get this costume. I mean, I get it. It's supposed to be the Mexican flag, but why the red pants and green? I get it works for the Mech Team Guadalajara, the Mexican team, but it doesn't work on her in that design. Her, the green pants would have worked better with the red top. Keep the hair white, so you can have the white in the Mexican flag, and then make the skin tan like that color. Problem solved. But that's just me. Who's the third one I want to pick? I usually pick Clark. Let's pick Shuri this time. Her special is in the air. I know that for sure. Okay. Now the top three. Here we go. Let's keep it interesting. Let's pick Blue Mary. Oh, orange with the white? That actually looks pretty cool. Let's pick Iori. The do not trust this man, he will take your wallet. And the last one here. Oh my god, it's him from Smash Bros. Ah! Okay, oh fuck, PlayStation icons on this thing. Oh no, this is gonna end horribly. Are there any devs that are not corrupt scumbag at the point? It's not that there aren't devs that aren't corrupt scumbags. It's when you are a publicly traded company. When you're a publicly traded company, this is what happens. When you're a publicly traded company, whoever owns the majority stock can basically tell you what to do. Look at SNK is a perfect example of this. Because SNK was actually getting some Tencent stock. But what wound up happening is that there was a prince from the Middle East. I think it was Saudi Arabia, I'm not quite sure. And he loved SNK as it was, and he did not like where SNK was going to go if China's company Tencent invested. So he bought, I think, the majority of, of 60 or 70% of SNK. So there's no way anybody can beat him as a stockholder. And they asked him, okay, Mr. Arabian Prince, what do you want us to do? And he said, just keep doing what you're doing. And that's why King of Fighters 15 years super sexy. Alright, Doujin where Iori does some pretty messed up stuff. You're at a Doujin with Iori, that's the first part of the problem. In fan comics, anything goes. Okay. Okay, so her sidekick here. Come on. Okay, I forget. They're both kickers. This is not good. So, oof! Oh, Jesus Christ. Even their grapple's kind of the same. Hey, look at this. We have a Metal Slug level. So, I hope this does not deconfirm a Metal Slug team. You know what I mean? A stockholder that tells them to keep doing what they're doing. That's rare. But notice, they invested in... Notice, the Prince invested in SNK because he liked SNK as is. He wasn't investing in SNK just to make more money. But now SNK gets to make the games he loves. Ooh! That's brutal. But... Okay. I gotta do something here. Nope. Reverse is gonna cost me... Do it. Come on. Okay. Or aren't all Doujins messed up as a rule in general? No, Doujins just literally means self-published work. So if I make a fan, like a webcomic of something happening, like even like a DeviantArt, that by definition is a Doujin. But Doujins in the... Quit, grab it! Fuck! But generally speaking, rule of thumb, Doujins have a negative connotation because Comic Cat and the popular stuff of Comic Cat is basically... Okay, back with this. No. Come on. Forward, circle back, there we go! Forward, circle back, circle forward, okay. A self-published Doujin Metal Band? Well, that's... Not what... Okay, wait. theoretically it is. Okay, so I gotta figure out, why is my hyper not working? I've got special, unless I need 3, which I don't think that's what it needs. Oh, I'm not gonna win. Oh! No! I've seen stuff in Smash Brothers. Stop! Stop! No! It's over. I'm not gonna win. I have to beat them all with Shermie. This is not gonna... He's full health too. What the hell? So the dudes can pretty dark, but they're standard wholesome ones too. There we go. There we go. Oh, so it's light punch, light. It's the 2 punches. Okay. My issue is I keep walking into those projectiles. That's right. Quit. And I suppose I pick too many characters that like to kick and some actually punch high, so my strategy is not the most balanced. So like that, back up a bit. Woo! Holy shit. Do they play gent metal? No, they're not gent metal. Gent metal, you can do it on a 6 string, a 7 string, but usually 8 string. But the Morpheus is the melodic and speed metal with their vocalist is a female vocalist, so just a heads up. Not saying that's bad, but some people just prefer male or female vocalists. It's over. It's over. I've played a round of King of Fighters where Iori has done nasty things to me. That's what's about to happen here, boys and girls. Okay, so let's quick mode. Oh, whoa. Please, a punch, not a projectile. Let's projectile. There we go. Okay, I was gonna go nuts if I lost to a projectile. Doujin metal, bro. Oh my god, you might as well call it. No, bro, don't call it Doujin metal. Call it hentai core. If there's any characters you want to see in action, just feel free to spit them out. Post jazz hentai core. Yeah, because I'm just trying to figure out why in the hell my specials aren't coming out. That's the only thing I probably object to in this game is if you're not used to King of Fighters, this game for input leniency, the moves themselves are not hard at all to do, but you have to be precise with it. Like, for example, if I want to say do a quarter circle in, let's say, Tekken or Street Fighter, it would be a little bit more lenient in the opening. But in this game, it's borderline perfect. It's like that teacher that says, yes, you're writing in English, you're writing letters, but you have to write them neatly. Yeah, but once you get past that, it's actually not too terrible. Not Goku, not Luis, and I just realized the other one's not here. Chris is here, but not Kenzo. Yeah, Kenzo's not here. I've not used Elizabeth ever, so let's try this one out. What anime is strange that when it gets wholesome, it gets really wholesome, but then when it gets messed up, when it goes dark. Yeah. Okay. Okay, hold on. Okay, no, not thrust. Okay, that's annoying. I have to hold down, angle it up, and then that input, the lack of input latency is gonna kill me because that first input is gonna. For every Senko, you have a Geno Cyber. Ah, Senko's cool. Whoa! 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 What the heck? Why is Chris kicking my ass? Like, this never happens. Oh god. Oh, this is just moonwalk back. Oh my god, the arrogance of this. I'm taking the L from a pretty boy. This is not good L. Oh, this song's in the training mode too. Oh. Wait, is this level 3 or is this level 4 computer? No, 5 is the max. Okay, with Chris, I'm just walking into all the setups. That's not good. Okay, so, yeah. Oh, fuck. Yeah. Chris is one of those that they gave him a lot more air game. Bro, he's beating 3 One songs. This is not good at all, bro. Okay, that works for now. There's gotta be a way to counter this that I'm not thinking of. I'll have to actually study the movesets later. Mode. Must be as far to preaching has to have inequality. No, you can preach and have some quality, but they're preaching to you at the expense of the quality. That's the thing about it. Give me a second. 1 second here. Give me 1 second here, please. Come on here. Freaking hell. All right. Let's be sorry about that. I had to disable something. Oh wait, wrong one. I had to disable something first. Selection again. Yeah, hope persist gets better, man. Member selection. There we go. Mr. Supersedes the quality. Yeah, it's not. It shouldn't be the way. It should be in tandem with the quality. Raise. I don't know. This has to be aware of anti-woke content. Well, yeah. Yeah, the problem with anti-woke content is that it goes by the same principle. It's a purity test that nobody can understand. If you want a good example of this, like, I'll give you a controversial example. I'll give you 2 controversial examples. First one, Final Fantasy VII Remake. Tifa's design was still considered too sexy by a lot of the woke journalists, but because it was done, but lots of the anti-woke people were saying that it was not sexy enough. I mean, none of them were saying, yeah, she's sexy, yeah, Tifa's beautiful, but this design was officially censored on the principle of censorship, so they could say, oh, she's sexy, but on principle I'm not going to buy it because the principle of censorship. It was just simply, this was either not sexy like how I remembered the game or the other models, versus this is still too sexy. And as a result, it was in this weird conundrum where nobody won except for the people, who make animations online, because face it, they'll take animations for anything at this point. There was one more I was trying to remember that there was fake back. There was like a drama backlash because it wasn't sexy enough for the anti-woke crowd, but it was still too sexy for the woke crowd. I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh yeah, Dead or Alive 6. Dead or Alive 6. They said we are going to make the game less sexy. They didn't say they were going to remove it completely, just less sexy. But what happened? Lots of the fans said that you can't do that because that's wrong. But people forget that DOA 5 is the most fan servicey game in the series. So anything less than extreme fan service was going to be seen as a step back. DOA, it basically just went back to Dead or Alive 4 levels of sexy. Still sexy, but nothing ridiculous like the flowers. Like they have only a grass skirt and only flowers to cover their chest. Like that's not realistic at all. It's dumb. DOA 4 didn't have those kind of costumes. Only DOA 5 did. But because it was a step back and everyone thought it was for the Evo crowd, they got backlash on both sides. That was the section is what MK is to Gore. Yes, you are right about that. F7 is still over Steamy and Rhino Hog. Well, let's face it. At this point in time, I'll just say this: quit asking for remakes if you know you're going to hate them. If the point is, people don't want to buy a game; they want to buy an experience. And you can say that's not true, but think about it. You want to buy a game that hopefully can wow you back in like the 80s or 90s of gaming, when you felt like, whoa, this is amazing, whoa, that's cool. No games exist like that anymore because every time we get a slight upgrade at anything, we buy it. Anytime we get anything new that's done, there. Anything that's experimental that requires you to relearn anything that how gaming has been done in the past 30 to 40 years, you don't want to relearn that. So as a result, anything new gets pushed out to the sideline. Not to mention, mainstream people will only buy the same kind of games. Currently, it's only Dark Souls clones, and it's only mainstream open world games. But when you buy indie games, they're not allowed to do anything that the mainstream does better. So indie and mainstream will always remain in these two separate spheres. And they'll never touch, they'll never cross over. And when they do, you just either gotta pull it off like lightning and keep your mouth shut and pull it off, or try to explain it and have everyone hate you for crossing the streams. They create a baseline of sexy people starting the DOA team. That's actually not true. They've always done the sexy characters. Even if you see the campaign for Dead or Alive 1 in Japan, it was always fan service. Dead or Alive 2, you had, unlike Dead or Alive 1, you had a lot of unlockable costumes. Okay, what am I doing here? Get on list. Quarter circle back twice. Versus for the heavy kick, that's a max weight. Quarter circle up with the punch, and then or a Z motion with punch. And then in the air, quarter circle with the kick. Gotcha. So she's quarter circle central. Quarter circle kick. In the air, quarter circle kick. There we go. There we go. It's just like Dark Souls, yeah, roguelike, whatever the fuck. The point is, people would rather buy an Elden Ring, which is basically at this point Dark Souls with a functioning jump button, than buy any new experimental kind of video game because at least they know what they're getting. That's the hard part. Pixie Shot's Troy Kate at the bottom. Is it messed up at the bottom? Oh, it's they've always wanted and will buy a game first, second, third, fourth. Yeah. No, but what I'm saying about the buying a game first, when I say that, I mean you want a game that's actually fun and makes you go and say, wow, I didn't think of that when gaming. Like how Ocarina of Time was when Final Fantasy VII came out. All these games that changed industry, they had to pull off that holy crap moment and make you go and say, games can do this? Because think about it, you can buy Candy Crush and that's a video game. You can buy Tetris and that's a video game. But there's nothing really wowing you about it. That's what I mean. Even if it's a game like with Mark of the Wolves, like the roster made you go, whoa, that's cool. The music brought you in. Because you can play a video game that's by definition a video game, and it can just be something you play for 5 hours and never, ever, ever come back to. That's how most people are with fighting games. It's a video game, but because it doesn't wow them, doesn't impress them, doesn't make them want to care for the gameplay experience or the characters or whatever. It's a video game, but it's just a video game. It's not something that they love and will die for or spend $300 on merchandise for. That's what I mean. If Dark Souls was an arcade game back in the day, and it was the same game but an arcade game, would people care enough to put cores to keep playing? They did it with fighters, they did it with beat 'em ups because they felt that it was fun enough. The experience of having fun with it was a great one. That's what I mean. The winning, the satisfaction, the oh yes, we beat it. You take that. Fuck. You can't the last melee's message. Give me a second, Venom Strike. Oh no. Venom Strike. Venom Strike. No, Venom Strike. What Pix means is give me a second here. Sorry, my bad. What Venom Strike means what Pix me. Jesus Christ. My bad. What did I do? Cancel. Give me a second. What he means is he hates how people games have to be an experience, you know what I mean, like the cinematic gaming, like not that kind of experience. That's not what I mean at all. Yeah, that's the message. Let me just shrink it down like 180. No, that's too much. Cool. There we go. Close, and there we go. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Oh yeah, but what were you saying there, Snark in the Water? I want to feel like I did the first time I played Halo. Yes, that moment, that breathtaking experience, that moment when you felt and you're like, whoa, this world is going to be cool. That experience. Because think about it, even though the Halo has crashed and burned, arguably with 4 onwards, but for sure with 5 onwards, it's not just a video game. It's a franchise that means a lot to millions of people. That's what I mean. Because think about it, the Lego Star Wars games, you can argue that, let me think of a bad video game, like one that people, Call of Duty, Call of Duty, for example, today, it's a video game. You pick it up, you play it, that's it. It's a video game by definition, but there's, other than winning online with your friends, maybe, there's nothing to come to for this game. Fucking die! Shit! Ah! No, I'm gonna lose. That's what I mean. Yeah, the reason the thing was truncated because earlier it had like a change in the date. And so it was kind of doing weird things with the spacing. So it was okay when it hit earlier. Ah! No, it's over! Equality! The king is about to be dethroned. I can't let that happen. Andy, I will split you from we have to fix this. Terry! Yes, yeah. What's there? One good game should make you long for over the real world. A great game will make you want to not go outside and play because to finish the story. I have a friend here. When I was in Japan here, we both bought PS Vitas. I have 1,000. He bought the Final Fantasy X Vita. He bought it, signed into his PlayStation account, literally bought Final Fantasy VII, beat it again on the Vita, and returned it before the week return policy was up. He bought a Vita just to play Final Fantasy VII, and of course, he wasn't going to get the game refunded. He played too many hours on it. But the fact that he bought a handheld console just to play the game again, that's what I mean. It brought him back to that experience. The problem is that when something breaks comes in, everyone tries to copy it. And that's the thing about it. These metal revival waves of trad metal, thrash metal, old school death metal. The problem is that a lot of people, they want to make something good, but they don't have that one thing that can't be captured, that spark. If you want to get that spark, look at all these Earthbound inspired games, you know what I mean? All the quirky ones about depression and stuff. They all can copy Earthbound and do it successfully, but none of them have that real thing, that real charm that separates them from other games. Sounds much the same reason why Empire Strikes Back is the best Star Wars. People don't know the review, but only works once. What's there to offer otherwise? Nah, it's not just that. What I'm trying to say is that I'm not saying, no, for me, Star Wars Strikes Back to me is the best because it has the most Star Wars locations and my favorite Star Wars location. It's not the twist reveal. To me, the twist reveal was just another good thing, but it wasn't the main reason why I liked it personally. I'm just trying to say this: if you can't convince someone that the role and character is real, why should I care if I lose? Why should I keep playing? What's to stop me from shutting this game off right now and doing something else? You know what I mean? Why should I pick this video game over a movie? Or should we go movie over the game? Member selection. Innovation. No, innovation. The thing with innovation is that at this point with innovation. Let me go back up to his comments. Assassin's Creed 1, Call of Duty 4, Halo 1 to 3. Yes, I agree with that. Last of Us is amazing. Sad to see them little beauty in the front of us. Oh, that's because the female writer who wrote Last of Us actually got outed from the company by Druckmann herself. And that's why, and she also helped do the Nathan Drake trilogy for Uncharted. And that's why the fourth one wasn't as good. Big C, that's the thing with innovation. It's creative, but is it fun? That's the hard part about innovation. The part about innovation is that there comes a point when things just work well enough that unless you can provide a major upgrade or enhancement, there is no reason for the majority of people. Look at that scene from, what was it, Back to the Future 2, when they go to that arcade. Yes, Henning was her name, yes. What was it? Like, the guy's like, oh, cool, I'm good at, Marty McFly's like, I'm good at this game. And what happened? And he pulls out the gun. And what did the kid say? Ew, you have to use your hands. They've gotten to a point in gaming in that particular world where using your hand is considered old school because probably they have some sort of neural controller that's way more effective, way more interested. But like that, same thing with VR. VR, when done right, it can work well. But you can't convince the average person. Why? Because there's not as many VR games that makes them want to buy a $300 headset. You make enough games that prove that VR is superior to other ones, and most people will join. But even then, you can't prove it, because sometimes you like the feel of a controller. If you like the feel of a controller in the game, and that's the fun part of the game, let's say like a flight simulator, or like a game like Formula 1 racing, and you take that away, then you can argue you took away the whole point of it. So even if you offer an innovation that does work, you cannot convince everyone to do it. There's always going to be someone left behind, there's always going to be someone ahead in innovation. It all depends on how well you do it and how well you can sell it. You didn't need analog sticks for games, but once a couple of games showed you what analogs could do, everyone hopped on the analog train. Look at, what was it? The Thrustmaster controller I've got here. You can swap out the D-pad, replace the D-pad with the analog sticks. There's even 4 extra buttons on the bottom of the controller for hotkeys. You could use that, but unless you prove to everyone that those 4 extra buttons on the bottom are actually going to do cool things, the majority of people are going to see it as a gimmick. Everyone thought the gyroscope was a gimmick when the Wii came out, but when they put on the Switch, everybody fucking bought that shit like hotcakes. And that thing is the definition of a port machine. Very woke women firing women for fake women to replace her. And I'll shut up about the reveal. Yeah, the reason why I never shut up about the reveal in Star Wars is because that's when the stakes were fucking raised. Because you take away that reveal in Episode 5, I'm not saying, I'm talking about narrative, not a wow factor. Then what's the point of redeeming Darth Vader? What's the point? I mean, think about it. You take rid of that thing, it's no longer the Skywalker saga. Crimson Echoes innovates much of anything from the core mechanics of Chrono Trigger, and is still much more highly regarded than Darien Cross. Yep, the thing about innovation. Innovation only works if you quote-unquote succeed. If not, there are 2 ways. It either was a game that either falls in the 1 of 3 camps. If you do not succeed, you're either a game that's too ambitious, that didn't know what to do, it was a disaster from the get-go, or worse, it's a game that gets appreciated 20, 30 years later as a quote-unquote cult classic. Cult classics are basically things that just did it right, but they're not going to get the recognition. Look at any movie that's a cult classic. It did it right, it did it good. Most did it right, most did it good, but they're never going to make those millions of dollars that they should have gotten when it first came out. I'm not defending Chrono Cross, fuck no, I'm not. But the thing about it is that innovation is not about innovation, it's about innovation that you can sell. If you cannot sell innovation, what's the point? Virtua Fighter sold 3D to, what was it? You had, Virtua Fighter and Tekken sold 3D fighting very well. But we also 3D games that came out after and they were just terrible. If those were the first ones, people would have given up on 3D on the get-go. Shit. Oh, thank God. Exactly. At the same time, Riley over racing, and that's the problem. What do you do at this point? Because at this point, I have a feeling that just gaming in general, well, almost everything in general, is this weird case of we want solutions, but we won't tell you how to give you any hints on what will and won't work. And you're just supposed to spend $1 million and figure it out. And if you don't get it right, we'll just tell you, no. It's like those annoying puzzles that your only indication of it working is a green light, red light. You could be one tiny thing off, and the whole thing could be disastrous, but you're just supposed to figure it out. And also with sequels, and just in general, you're never allowed to be worse or lesser than your counterpart. And you're not allowed to be as good as the last one anymore. Like if I made a game, let's say with Chrono Trigger, that was just as good as Chrono Trigger, but it was like a part 3, you would expect it to be better. Like Half-Life 3, if it were to ever come out, could not just be as good as Half-Life 2. It would have to be better than 2, as well as make up for that long 20-year wait. And that's the tricky part. Fuck! That's part of the reason why that's why Dota 6 was so bad. Dota 6 was bad because it went, not because it was backwards in one thing, but they went backwards in everything, worse than even the second entry. Fuck! Shield! No! I'm getting JoJo'd. This is... No! Stop! Okay, that's it. I'd rather wait 5 years between sequels and have the same shit pushed out every year. Yeah, I agree completely. I'd rather wait 5 years and they get the same shit pushed out every year. On the flip side, though, you will probably buy some other clones in between those 5 years. Ultimate Underworld was rough around the edges, but we will not have Elder Scroll without it. Correct. Exactly. And that's what it is with a lot of these things. Like, think about even art. Like, you know those albums that are not completely, but semi-controversial with a band? Ones that, this was okay, but the album after it was better? The album that was kind of, gets a pass because it helped make a better album. But if the album after that was just a train wreck, forget it. That both of them go down as fucking crap in history. It was like Force Awakens. Force Awakens got some good praise when it first came out. I probably thought it was just kind of But what happened? People give it praise because they hoped it was a step in the right direction. But the moment The Last Jedi came out, retroactively The Force Awakens became hated by everyone because it wound up. It was a step in the right direction, but the payoff wasn't worth it. And as a result, that film is considered just as bad as the last two. Take what didn't work and change it to something that does work. But that's the problem. Most people don't want to sit down and figure out what works. Like, I'll give you an example. People say, for example, like in the metal that 90s died. Metal in the 90s did not fucking die. The problem with the 90s is that it was much more fucking diverse. In the 80s, it was much more consistent. So think of it like this. You have a score of 120 being the max. Trad metal and glam metal and all that radio shit in the 80s, no offense to them, the lowest they could get was a 50, but the highest they got was an 80, on the occasional low 90s. It was much more, it wasn't as varied, but it was much more consistent. The 90s metal, you had high highs like 110s, 100s, 90s, but that means at the same time, you also had much lower lows. Oh, come on, over here. Come on, shit, come on. You had... Get over here. Come on. No. No. Come on. No. To the nuts. But yeah, the 90s metal had much higher high with the 110s, 90s, and 100s, but they weren't as common. Your average was around the same, but that means you also had much lower lows. But if I would have told you and say, oh, let's pretend, I'll be a weird example. Let's pretend I like Stratovarius as my favorite band. But then someone told me I gotta take something from death metal and put it in Stratovarius to make it work. Most people will not sit down and try to fuck around and figure out, how do I take something from death metal, into Stratovarius? It's a lot of work. But they'll say it's impossible. But the moment that someone does figure it out and makes millions of dollars, they'll say they'll say that band is innovative. No, go back. Oh, no, I'm not quitting. Yeah, you can't just press back if you accidentally go back to the character select. Wasp made some. Anthem's first record was also rough. Bullet to their stellar follow-up Tightrope. Correct, but to be fair, debut albums usually get a pass because debut albums are usually independently funded, or the company doesn't give a lot of money. Because it's the debut. They don't want to put money into a band that's not going to work. Unless you're a band like Nickelback, who after their second album said, record labels, we will let you write and control every musical aspect of our music, and we'll play what you want us to. Unless you're a band like that, no band's going to sink their money into you. And guess what? Nickelback, say what you want about them being talentless hacks or non-creative songwriters, they're still getting concerts. They're still making money. They played at the Ontario Winter Olympics for the closing ceremony. They still can sell out concerts. You can't remember a song, but they still sell. Oh, those you like Project Plus to make strong characters weaker, makes weak characters stronger. Correct. buffing is the best way to do it. It's better to make everyone stronger and more viable than to nerf the strong ones. Making the weak character stronger is bringing them up. If you bring everyone down, you basically are going as fast as the slowest horse. I have never tried Maxim. Wait, did I try Maxim? Oh, Magneto colors. You gotta be kidding me. Let's pick, hey, the blue dinosaur skin. People like the Force Awakens. Yes, people like the Force Awakens. People like the Force Awakens because you have to remember, Star Wars was at a point in time before Disney bought it that people only remember George Lucas as the man who destroyed Star Wars, not the man who invented it. There was that whole movie that People versus George Lucas. Even Mark Hamill said it was a glorified hit piece. And that's right, there were half the fandom that thought the prequels basically ruined and killed Star Wars. Didn't matter how good the extended universe was, the prequels tainted it in their eyes. And the only way that that was going to be a good thing is if Lucas got out. And that's why everyone was so excited when Force Awakens was going to come out. It was like, see, Disney can do Star Wars better than not Macho Man Randy Savage. Damn it, there's no black. The cream of the crop! Yeah, but what happened? They had to do it. And guess what? Some people, what did Razor Fist say? Hey, Ramon. Razor Fist said that you'd be begging for Lucas back, but there are still a couple of fans that say, I would hire anyone as long as it's not Lucas or Disney. Because they still have that mantra in there. Unpopular opinion, Nickelback had a few good songs. Yeah, Nickelback had a couple of good songs. And even some of their commercial songs that were written by somebody else, they were actually really good. Like, I like Animals. People who hate Nickelback, I actually like that song they wrote for Spider-Man 1, that song Hero. That's another one that's actually unironically good. But it's just that Nickelback, the majority of their stuff that sells on the radio, like Photograph or Rockstar, that's all just... They literally look at the top 100 and top pop and top rap 100, break it down musically, figure out why that song sold millions of dollars, and they put it back together into a Nickelback song. Let me said, Clone Wars is better than the prequels. The series Clone Wars? It had to fill in the entire gap between episode 2 to episode 3. Prequels, pure nostalgia. I actually think, I'll say this, I like Star Wars episode 3. Episode 3, if it had tighter writing and tighter pacing, it would have been better than episode 4. I'm saying that. But 1 and 2, 1 is more fun than 2, but story-wise it's kind of useless. 2 is more important than 1 in terms of narrative, but goddamn, is that the longest movie in the franchise in terms of pacing of the six Lucasfilms. Come on. Okay. So what am I doing wrong here? Yeah, that's the thing. But as I said, yeah, people not to go on that whole tangent, but people just want someone else to take over it and fix it, and they don't want to spend the time to sit down and do it themselves. And no offense, I was looking at more of those metal bands, for the trad metal bands on Bandcamp. I'm sorry, most of them, they've got the chops, they've got the talent, they technically can write a good song, but they don't have that factor that make it pizzow. Like it was asking me hey, you like this band? You might like Eternal Champion. Yeah, Eternal Champion has that pizzow factor. You put me on those trad metal lists, no. You put me in those trad metal lists, this new school trad metal. I can tell you an Eternal Champion song for the rest of them. So the other ones, I can't tell 3 of them apart other than the production. So if I would have put 20 of them on a playlist and play them back to back, I could not tell you where one band started and the next one ended. Okay, what am I doing wrong? On the air, left, right, punch. Oh, it's okay, and that would be back Z. That's back. So down light. So it's down light to down light, left, right, kick. Oh, she's mostly kicks. Gotcha. There you go. We need the LA Clone Wars movie like a Planet 2 for Vietnam, you could R-rated too. Yeah, the problem with that is that it's Disney Star Wars. And the problem is that Star Wars has put it with the Disney name. It's not like Roger Rabbit, where it was under Touchstone Pictures, and it still technically is Touchstone Pictures. They slapped the Disney Mickey Mouse ears all over it. Meaning that the chances of it getting R-rated are very slim. Because everyone knows that it's them. Oh yeah, that's Magneto. That's why Fluir Flip had the best saber fight in the franchise. Darth Maul vs. Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan was amazing. I personally agree with that too. Here we go, boy! Marvel vs. Capcom Ultimate, you said earlier, right? If Timothy Zahn, the author of Thrawn trilogy, was to be potentially write a film, I'd give it a chance. The pod race is the only thing I remember. Yeah, the pod race is the only, besides the Darth Maul fight, the pod racing thing is the only thing anybody remembers from episode 1. Because it was the most fun part of the... Like, those two, that was when fun stuff was happening. You know what I mean? Rogue One got pretty close to the greedy part, but couldn't go too far. Well, Snark, and I hope you know that that film had 5 different writers and 3 different directors, because the first one wanted a war film, so they had a new director, and the new director, they got they were 2 directors at the same time. They wanted to make it like Battlefront, like a PG-13 Battlefront, the movie, but Kathleen Kennedy wanted a family action film. And so they got fired, so they got a 4th person to come in. They put the trailer out with that whole I'm a rebel, I rebel. That got backlash because it seemed too stupid. So they hired a 5th director to come in and rewrite and reshoot the entire second half of the movie into the best part of that film, essentially. Last minute, 3 months before release, they added that Darth Vader slicing sequence, and that's how Rogue One came to be. But it's the only one of the Disney films that has had any semblance of respect. Yes, even those female... X-Wing troopers, those were actually filmed back in the original Star Wars. They just weren't used. And so they actually sat down, HD'd them all up to modern 1080p or 4K, whatever, 60 frames per second, and put them in the film. Whoa! No! Oh, yeah! The TASM 2 studio editing it into a crap film. TASM? The Amazing Spider-Man 2? Well, that was kind of true, but the problem of TASM... Again, people only fillet Rogue One because it's the only with any semblance of respect, and it's all that second half of the movie. That second half of the film is what people praise it for. Nobody praised the first half outside of maybe a couple of memes. That second half of Rogue One is because it got close to that Star Wars feeling, and it, in the theaters made them feel like, wow, this actually feels like a Star Wars film, you know? That wasn't a rewrite. And Amazing Spider-Man 2, that was, most of that film was improvised. They just edited it together. And Sony did not learn their lesson because they did that again with Ghostbusters 2016. What happened? What happened? Rogue One went? I don't know. I'm not Pat, and today we're going to talk about some other Canadian thing you might not know about. God damn it. Can I go back? No, I can't go. No, no, man. I hate this. I have to go back. I'm gonna have some drink here. Versus, let's see here. I'll go back here to versus. I'll come over 3v3s and go back to 1v1s. What happened on the sequel trilogy would be juicy. Oh my god. What happened? No, there would be 2 trilogies. What happened for the actual Disney trilogy, and then what happened for the spin-off trilogy, the Rogue One, the Han Solo, and what was that? Did they even make a 3rd spin-off like they were supposed to? I forget. But yeah, in general, people get pissed off, but yeah, it's all come from a side tangent because, generally speaking, people don't just want good shit. They want shit that brings them back to that feeling of when things were good. You can call I use experience because it's the only way I can think about it. But think about it. You want a throwback that feels fresh, but still gives you those throwback vibes. I don't know how else to describe it. I really can't. If I get lots of games going like, go and tell you, oh, it's a 90s game made in the 2020s, or it's an 80s action film with 2010 production. Like, there's no easy way to explain it other than just saying it's basically this, but with modern tech. You want something fresh that feels new but brings back those old good old day feelings. Let's try Blue Marriott. A Barbie is now a wrestler. Let's go back to Whip. I'm gonna regret that decision horribly. Ending. Resident Evil 7 is only gonna make you feel joy. I was playing the Resident Evil 7 is the only game in that franchise that made me feel joy in a remake. So to make me broken pair of unwanted masters you was described, the answer is no. But to be fair, with Resident Evil 7, that could have been its own original IP outside of Resident Evil. But the question is, if they made it a game that was not Resident Evil in the name, would anyone have realistically bought that? So I was supposed to get a sequel, but it formed bad as he pulled the plug. Yeah. I rather enforce one of my favorite bands. And basically made 80s great, 80s Maiden great while embracing their own sound. Yeah. That's how you're supposed to do it. You take, again, I know people don't like him, but Pantera said, Phil Anselmo has said it best. You take 20, 30, 40 of your favorite bands and put them in a blender until it becomes your own sound. But instead, you get people who like 5 or 6 bands, and all they listen to are bands that listen to those 5 or 6 bands, and then you become like those 5 or 6 bands who sound like those 5 or 6 bands, and then that's it, and you just and then you sound like music on a YouTube or a Spotify playlist. Like, it doesn't annoy you, and you won't hit that skip button, but you won't come back to that song. Disney just get Timothy Zahn to write the movies and Dave Filoni to direct. They want to. What they wanted to throw the EU out Kathleen Kennedy. Yeah, and they're paying for that, because the problem is that Kathleen Kennedy, they can't get rid of her, because she will play that card of discrimination, and she can use that as an evidence, even though it's not true. But that's why it's hard to get rid of her, unless they have like a grand fuck up that she has. She's not gonna make it. George Lynch and Hideo Fukuda are cut from the Van Halen cloth. Yep. Which is funny, because Van Halen had a really weird approach, I found out earlier today, about shredders. He and Malmsteen hate he hates shredders for the different reason than Malmsteen and Marty Friedman. Because Marty Friedman and Malmsteen, they have it's a case of, if it's not how I would do it, it's wrong. But I gotta find the article, but Van Halen basically said he hated the 80s shredders because they all just try to be the majority of them try to copycat clones of his style without adding anything new back in the day. And I'm not talking about like the big bands like Scorpions where you can actually remember the shit. I'm talking about those bands that had like a #1 or top 10 hit, but you find that song on YouTube, it has less than 1 million views. I mean, those bands. Come on. Christ, this is not gonna go. Andy, no, we must defeat the Andy. Come on. Fuck! Damn it! Resident Evil 7 was directed with a series because of TNF5 which is possible to only atrocity of the overrated RE4. And I'm gonna say this about RE7. From what I've seen of 8, I don't think they actually have a fucking idea what they're doing. I think 7 was just a one-shot off and they had no idea how to continue it. Because 8 just kind of seems to go in places. Meaning that if 9 fucks up the ending, I would not be surprised if the fans retroactively hate 7 and 8. Or at least Resi 8. But you can say what you want, but the question becomes, did Resident Evil have to even continue? Because how many times have we seen a franchise where it only got one catastrophic ending and it was never, ever, ever touched again? I have a feeling that with horror, it's only like 6 people don't like horror games. Only like 6 franchises of it. I mean, like it's always Silent Hill and Resident Evil, but outside of those 2 games, like what other horror games do they talk about? Maybe Outlast, maybe Amnesia, Binding of Isaac on occasion, Slenderman. But what other than those big ones? And even then, Resident Evil 7 took lots of notes from Amnesia and Outlast. You can argue they did it better, yeah, but guess what? It was Atlas and Amnesia that did the innovation, not Resi. But Resi's the one that made a fuck ton $1 million, and that's the one that they're gonna copy. Come on. DMC Gora fangirling, oh my god. Going through Resi, yeah, late. That's what if you look at RE game that 4 did, and I should let RE4. Did you see what Capcom said about the RE4 remake? About how they're extending sequences, the whole game's going to be at night, they're going to take a darker atmosphere from the canceled Resident Evil 4 prototypes, and side characters like Ashley and Ada Wong's campaign would be expanded. So yeah, so I feel like Resident Evil 4 is going to keep everything that fans like about Resident Evil, but actually giving a legitimate horror vibe and bringing back more of the puzzles. Like, that would actually be cool. I'm wondering about the control scheme, though. Because, face it, Resident Evil 4 sells like hotcakes, but the third tank controls, I don't mind them. I'm used to them. But 7 sold a lot of copies, because let's face it, while scary is cool, having easy to pick a controller like an FPS that doesn't require a humongous ass learning curve because it's easier, quote unquote, whatever. That makes me wonder. Will Resident Evil 4 have first person, third person, or will it be like classic Battlefront where you can switch between the two? That's my question. And you to horror first and everything. White Thief was game by one of the decades, one of the best survival games ever. No, but notice, I wasn't saying those two because they were good games. I said because they're the ones that get credit. What I'm trying to say, White Day is probably the better horror game of those 3 games. But notice, who the hell, unless you're a real horror game aficionado, would know about that game? Well, of course, I will never learn to not pick this stick again. RE2, RE3 remake? I don't know, because normally I would agree with that it might function like RE2 and RE3 remake, but the issue is this, though. Resident Evil 4 is their best seller, the best-selling Resident Evil game of all time. But Resident Evil 7 and 8, first person, are the best-selling ones currently in terms of recent releases. So, which one will maximize your profit? That's the question. People like to come talk about games, but people forget there's a business there. People don't make this shit for fucking free. And when they, you know what I mean, they don't, very few make it up for free. And when they do it for free, it's because it's advertising to put their name out there for a bigger project in the future. People more ignorant than I realize. The answer is simple. You can't convince people to care about shit they don't fully care about. People like you guys like metal, right? But are you gonna sit down and, let's say with let me think of one. Like your favorite band. Are you gonna, and you want to play, let's say, guitar? Are you gonna find all those interviews of your favorite guitarist and and find every single guitarist that influenced that person? I don't think people are gonna want to find that boring 50s, 60s rock, whatever. That if they like Van Halen, you know what I mean? If you like Van Halen because he can play melodic instrument and he's very diverse, you're gonna want to hear Van Halen. You don't want to hear his influences. You want to hear Van Halen. The only time you'd ever want to hear his influences is if you are trying to play like him, but really want to understand him and not just be a copy-paste clone. It's like fighting games here. Most people only know Street Fighter, only know Mortal Kombat, only know Tekken. People don't talk about Arcana Hearts. They don't talk about Arcana Hearts. They don't talk about Eternal Champions. They don't talk about Balls 3D. They don't talk about Dead or Alive, even though it's still pretty big. It's not Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Smash Brothers, a Dragon Ball Z fighter game. It's none of those. People, when they say they care about something, you only want like the top 10 or top 20. They have no time to waste with the mediocrity. With mediocre ones, because it was good, you know about it. You know what I mean? Because that's much what they got. Like, people like Star Wars, but how many of them are going to sit down and watch a lot of the Flash Gordon shit? They're not going to. Even though Flash Gordon is huge, they're not going to waste their time with it because they want Star Wars. They don't want Flash Gordon. They want Star Wars. They don't want other horror games. They want Resident Evil. They want horror games. They want Silent Hill. They want those 3 franchises. That's why if Resident Evil 7 was a brand new franchise, it probably could have gotten a much even better critical reception, but probably would not have sold as much. I think one girl will never fangirl over me like she does Dante. Why even live? You can live so you can buy that special edition of a special edition with the DMC5 jacket, and you might have a chance. Girls in the background. Lol, I see it. Come on. A little more, come on. Let go. One second. No. Come on. No! Fuck. That had it.
host interviews, but more for being Yingli and both the guitar and I'll play an instrument. But that's the thing I'm trying to say. Most people can only care to a degree. Unless you're autistically, no, and I'm saying it because that's what the memes turned it into. Unless you're autistically like annoying about it, like look at Mountain for example, perfect example. Yes, you might like Mountain as a guitarist, but if you did play, would you want the guitar set up the way he does it, where even like he'll criticize you for having the kind of whammy bar system on a guitar? Most people don't give a shit. They'll just buy whatever guitar costs $60 and just play whatever they want to play. They want to play Smoke on the Water. They want to play Enter Sandman. They want to play Power of Love. Whatever. You can't convince them because they want to play something. They don't care about the fundamentals. They just want instant output, and that's the big thing. You match hard when you're about to lose. Yeah, because the thing I match hard when I'm about to lose is because it's because of the input. Okay. The problem is that with this game has very little to no leniency when it comes to inputs. Again, you see that special move? That dynamite swing right there? The down? If I do not press it down, it will not do the input. In other fighters it would, but in this game if I don't hit it down, and then I also have to make sure it hits exactly perfectly left, if I don't get it perfect out and perfect left in those two inputs, it will not activate. And I've seen with inputs in the tutorial. So I'm mashing the stick, hoping in vain that it will actually activate, because I think I do it a little bit too fast, but I don't know how slow or how fast, because it is a little bit different with every character. So for it's a quick quarter circle back, quarter circle forward. Damn, no! I knew I was gonna regret picking Whip as an opponent. Special selection of the body pillow, okay. Yeah. Member selection, there we go. I'm not, and being wired different, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying that the majority of people just don't care about the majority of things. This is why when people say like, yo, I want to get into something, they say, give me the top 10. Like if I were to say make a list of top 10 neoclassical bands, it then functions like this. If you've seen it, congrats, you now seen the best neoclassical has to offer because they're the top 10, you know what I mean? But if you like it, there's more where it came from, and even though it's technically lesser quality because it's not the best of the best, ergo the top 10, you'd still be willing to like it because you like the gimmick. But if you don't, you've seen the best it has to offer, and you just move on. Like top 100 movies ever made, top 10 this, top 10 that. Whinging about how there's no more goodness than that, but that's the problem. It's inevitable because, let's face it, how many times have you liked something, but you like the weird thing or the odd thing out about it? You know what I mean? I wish there was more of this album, or more of this kind of game, and then everyone looks at you like, bro, that's the one that everybody fucking hates. That also is a thing, you know what I mean? Why did I pick him? Oh, no, I didn't pick him. No. Yeah, and that's the thing about it. The question is, how deep do you want to look? How far back do you want to look? Are you willing to go underground and in a foreign country and get horribly subtitled shit to get a good movie? Are you willing to go and play games from the Commodore 64 on PC while running like 2 old school versions of DOS-Box to get it work? Because some people will. Because if you can't get the game to run, are you going to bother trying to play it? Some people will just give up and say, no, it's not worth getting this game to run because it doesn't work out the box. VTubers were until I didn't know what. I do read Android of Lost Sheep and I don't remember it. Perks of having that in old school sci-fi. Yeah, it was still a little bit dry, but still pretty cool. I didn't know what VTubers were. 3 months ago, no, my shrimp for my Oshi. Only waifu whose artist now has been much drawing of. Yeah. Well, back as far as Deal Pilgrimage, we surprised even Dallas. True, but are you gonna? You can say that's true, but think about it. Most people, like myself, when I started with metal, my metal when I got into it, that was Metallica, that was Megadeth, it was Dragon Force, and to me, those were my starters because that's all I knew at the time. But most people, unless you, and what happens? I found out, Megadeth, my favorite one. They take lots of in their first albums, lots of jazz influence. So am I gonna just try to copy Megadeth, or do I want to go back and actually try to copy the jazz band that they did? And those jazz bands go back into the 40s and the 50s. Do I want to go back that far in music history, or do I want to pick the metal bands that inspired them if I'm trying to do metal? That's the thing. See? Do I want to go and stay within a realm, or do I want to go further and get the fullest picture I can get? Am I willing to put the time in, effort in? That's the big thing. It all depends. The further back you go, it's like coding. If I want to make a game and all I need to do is this visual game editor, do I need to really go back and understand the history of coding? Or the mindsets of the best coders? If I'm using a visual editor, yay or nay? Not really. But at the same time, doing something to help you be more efficient. There's no right or wrong answer, but there are more efficient answers. For cross, I prefer instrumentals over the lyrics. Because over the lyrics, that's the thing about it. It's how you sell a story, you know what I mean? Do you sell a story because of the adventure, or do you sell a story because of the hero? That's the thing about it. The instrumentals and the vocal are just two different things. It depends how you remember it and what you do. And like I said, people will say certain music can't exist, but it's only the 12 same fucking notes. But that's magically a wrong way to put it, and asking to explain it is... Come on. Quarter circle back, down. Okay, what am I doing wrong here again? Like why is it not working? Quarter back forward. Fuck! Damn it! I fell into that. Wrong inputs. This one's count for more. I hate for that. Like it's the same force. Okay, this is. This one's count for more. I got a lot of hate for not liking Van Halen, but I love Dragon Force. Technical playing is useless without good melody. No, I get that. But here's the thing, though. At what point do you have to realize that the way to get into something, you have to legit change your mindset? I mean, what I'm saying is this, though. Like when you have people, let's say like black metal or death metal. If I'm going to judge that by the same standards as a pop song, like on the radio, is that who's in the right, who's in the wrong, or is there even a right or wrong answer? That's the thing I'm trying to say. At what point is it just preference? At what point is it literally that sometimes you can still not like it, but you have to admit that sometimes how you go about it is the thing. You know what I mean? That's the hard part about it. Come on, get it. Just have to fill up the bar. Just have to fill the bar. Come on. Fill the bar, fill the bar, fill the bar. Come on. Okay, so. Come on. So it's down. God, like, why won't the hypers work? I mean, honestly, like, it's weird. I can get it in practice mode, but I can't get it to work here. It's weird. I spent the whole day practicing it just to get it down, and I can't remember. Fuck. It's just an anthem after Akoshi was very technical about melodic guitars. Akiko, okay. Did you bring Ryo to his knees? Oh my god, I read that. Oh my god. Okay, let me go to the training. Let me figure out what the hell I'm doing wrong. I'll try not to take too long with the training, but I just really want to figure out what the hell's going on. Just quickly pick on helm. GF on pics are showing my glorious. It's just, yep, that's called marketing. Think about how many, like Dead or Alive, you come for the tits, you stay for the crits. Remember, I struggle to see how to tell jazz play with metal. For example, it used to be or blues. It's blues and jazz, and that's the big thing about it. This is one thing I learned when I took jazz theory. The more you hear metal, the more you hear jazz, the more you understand it. The more you hear blues, the more you understand it. If all you do is hear classical, you're only going to understand things from a classical context. And don't believe me? Look at the classical purists when blues and jazz got big. Blues and jazz got so big that they loved playing live that to them improvisation was a humongous part of their foundation. But what happens? A lot of classical purists were afraid of that bleeding into classical music, so they literally made up a new rule that you were not allowed to improvise in classical music, even though there were songs that said it was okay to. Like there were literally songs that Bach and other people wrote that said that improvisation, like here's an entire section for you to improvise in. But what happened? Apparently, it's magically not allowed now because blues was too dissonant. From a classical standpoint, blues music was too dissonant. Jazz music was even more dissonant than classical music because the entire foundation is on dominant sevenths. And what happens is that they try to stop it, but It was inevitable. The Motown, the funk music, the hip hop, the 70s, 80s music like Michael Jackson and Motown, they all embraced the jazz tradition. So within not even 40 years later, the jazz and blues rule sets became the new normal. They replaced classical as the default rule set for most people. Okay, so let's figure this out here. Oh wait, oh yeah, I need the move inputs. Is it not command list? Not config. It was where's it at? Where is it at? Command list. No, that's weird. Like, is it here? Is it? Okay, that's not it. Like, I need to see the button inputs. Yeah, like where's it not showing me to me? Stand, guard, key it. There we go. Command list, make sure. Okay, quarter down, quarter circle back, and then a half circle forward plus the 2 heavy attacks. Gotcha. Heavy punch, heavy kick, same time. There we go. Quarter down, quarter circle back. Oh, it's too early. Shit. There we go. Okay, so it's 3 bars a meter. That explains why I wasn't getting it. And the thing about it is that with metal, at least, if you pay attention to the guitar work, like if you want to hear blues with distortion on it, it's called Black Sabbath. Black Sabbath started metal by basically just doing blues on distortion. Even AC/DC is all hard rock shit. That's all blues shit on distortion. Jazz metal, if you hear Megadeth's first 2 albums, you can hear it so much. They even cut on the second album, did a cover of a popular jazz song called "I Ain't Superstitious." No, this is not a Stevie Wonder thing. And yeah, let me make sure that it works. Oh, okay, let me get the third bar back up. But yeah, and someone saw that. And if you don't believe me, with Megadeth, Motorhead and Megadeth were both the bands that proved that double bass drumming could actually add something. It wasn't just, oh, it's technical skill just to show off herder. There's no point in it. No, Megadeth and Motorhead, Megadeth, and then Megadeth's influence onto Venom backwards show that you can do the double bass pedals and get good results out of it. Yeah, but that double bass that was considered just overkill and absolutely pointless unless you were in a jazz group until metal showed up. That was around since the 40s. That's the big thing. But then now we've got, thanks to rock music and the Beatles taking influence from even other genres, including Indian music, now they have a new thing called fucking rock theory. And now that's replaced what most people has. Because classical music is not just orchestra. There are certain things you can do with chords, certain note arrangements that you cannot do. I mean, you can do in jazz, you can do in blues, but you are not legally allowed to do in classical music. It's the same 12 notes, but the rule sets already do it. Yeah, let me just... Artemisia is another melodic death metal band, yeah. Well, I think the most popular, I think the most well-known melodic death metal band would actually be Death Clock from Metalocalypse. Yes, they are melodic death metal. And they're actually pretty good at melodic death metal. They're not just a joke. I mean, they're a joke with talent. Kind of like how Psychostick is like a parody of all those crazy, like, crossover thrash bands. But and they're really talented musicians, but they just choose to have incredibly stupid lyrics, like "I'm a dog on I love sucks, I'm a dog," shit like that. There we go. Let's try again. Yeah, put it off for 15 more minutes. Clean vocals are a must. I can't understand growling. I found black metal hard to get into. The hardest part with the tons off about thrash and black metal. Sometimes when they can the guitar, how to play the instruments. Thrash. Tosin Abasi is overrated. Dude, Tosin Abasi is overrated. Tosin Abasi is because he's the only one who actually uses all fucking 9 strings on a 9-string guitar without it just being just chuggy, basic gent. That's why he's the only person that most people, even who hate him, will agree that he's the only person who can actually use a full 9-string guitar. Black metal thrash artists, it depends on it, because I've heard a lot of thrash metal bands without any solos, surprisingly. Japanese musicians throw English into the lyrics. Yeah, it's just because it sounds cool. It's basically it's just decoration English. Clean vocals are a must. Can't understand the growling. Well, for me, I got into it over time. Funny enough, I got into it because of Megadeth. Because even though his vocals aren't technically death growls, it was still it was the first time I had to actually ask myself, I like the instruments a lot, but not the vocals. Am I willing to put up with the vocals to hear the rest of the good music? I personally thought it was, and as a result, it made me build that skill to tolerate vocals that I normally couldn't stand. And as a result, I got to death metal. Years later, I got into black metal, but that was more for other reasons. But also helped me to like survive like working in retail with the pop radio. Surprisingly, it's like, oh well, I can put up with it. I've heard worse. Double mission is good if used right. But yes, but that's true. But that's the thing about it. Like we said earlier, once someone has to work it and prove to you it is a good thing first. They have to innovate and prove to you it's a good thing first. And until that happens, it'll be seen as a no, it's impossible, or no, it can't be done, or no, yeah, or no, it's not. You're not allowed to do this. That's the big thing. Someone has to take the skill and jump, the leap of faith, and then everyone will say, "Why didn't I think of that?" Because the answer is simple. They didn't want to sit down and work and figure out how to make it work. Some black metal's an acquired taste, and even then, the black metal, you got the true cult people. You got people like Immortal with like really good production. You've got some people like who their production's okay. You got the true cult people. Then you have the people who say that black metal isn't really black metal because it's Christian. You got someone like Matushka where they add like the chanting melodic vocals into it, combined with the black metal, but because they do the thing of the atmosphere. There's Inquisition. That one's funny because you can understand almost everything he's saying, but it sounds like a frog, like a demonic frog is just chanting. But some people like him because you can understand him, but others don't like it because it's completely different from other black metal bands in terms of the vocal approach. Yeah, that's the thing about it, because when I figured out that black metal was more about the atmosphere than the actual, that's what I mean, like, you can't approach it like thrash or death metal or even trad metal, because it's more about, like, you know, the melody, the jamming, the having, like, going along with it. When it's about the atmosphere it creates, then you're like, okay, I have to find the different game there. That's what hell sounds like, bro? Oh, yeah. Okay, what's that mid-air move that she does? That jump move. Because it's a jump move she has in the air. Why? Close in the air, or just in the air in general, it's that quarter circle forward and a kick. That quarter circle forward and a kick. Gotcha. Oh, what? Oh, that's why I was working. I was hitting the punch. There we go. Here we go. Chip. There we go, that's her. So I'm thinking if I hit that up with a launch, I can always fucking launch him up somehow. Nope. What? Nope. Okay, it's quarter circle back. Quarter circle back. Nope. Okay, my memory is failing me. Arcane also gets into annoying music territory. I can't help but love it. Yeah! Yeah, but the thing about it is that you can say what you want about it, but it all comes down to, are you willing to question and what is and isn't acceptable music? Because there's a guy I talked to on another server, and literally, he's at a point where he thinks that anything past the year 1993 is shit music, unless it's from a band that came out from before in the 80s. Anything after the 93 is magically quote-unquote Zoomer music, and the only good music that's not jazz, to him nowadays, is that new traditional heavy metal. Anything else can go die in a fucking fire. And then he wonders why he can't find any good music to listen to. Because congrats, he's limited what is considered good music to basically 3 options. Looks like all music besides black starts extreme metal, country, and rap. Well, the heavier side of thrash technically bleeds into extreme metal. Black metal, death metal, those are extreme metals. Country music is good if it's older country, because after Achy Breaky Heart, the pop country cancer began. And then rap. Rap was weird because hip-hop and rap kind of blended together after a point, and that's when it really got mainstream. But they just got together by mixing the worst 2 aspects of it. There is good shit, but again, it's all underground, not mainstream. Yeah, but that's what happens. Most people are conservative about their. Most people, the overwhelming majority of people, are conservative about their taste. I mean, it works in two different ways. I mean, you could say, well, I don't. Well, think about it. Most. That's why I call it brick wall. Like, with people with most metal, when they get to thrash, that's where most of them brick wall because it stops being melodic. Because being melodic is not the point of it anymore. But instead of understanding, oh, thrash is different. Because glam metal is pretty boys, pretty people singing about pretty things. They sing about love, sing about power, sing about drugs, sex, and all that shit. Thrash metal onwards is ugly people singing about ugly things. Where's Shemi? Where the hell Shemi at? Think about it. Look at any death metal, black metal. It's the guys don't look attractive mostly. The guy and what they sing about is not attractive either. It's much easier to get a band like Poison, where the boys dressed like girls with the lipstick and the makeup and everything, and singing about partying and making love, than it is to get someone to say, "Hey, want to hear me talk about blowing up the Trade Center in New York?" Back. Let's make it interesting. Yeah, that's the big thing. When it comes to mainstream people, if their conservative taste is if it's not on the radio, it's this. And this is how everybody is. What was it? There were people in the 60s who thought that Pink Floyd and the Doors were not music, not for any talent reasons, but because it simply wasn't the music that they grew up with. And then those people grew up and they said that Def Leppard was not music either. That was just noise. Or it was going to send their kids to hell. And I am... Fuck, where did mine go? I'm looking too hard, aren't I? Bro. Oh, yes, I love that costume color. Yeah, Tom McDonald is one of those good rappers. Yeah. Part of it, the issue was that after Run DMC in the 70s, after that rap was like around for like 5 years, then Run DMC shows up, and then fucking the sampling game begins. Tupac actually was a good rapper. Tupac is a good rapper. Tupac and Biggie Smalls, there's a reason why those two are still revered as of the best. So much so that when Biggie Smalls died, they made a movie about it like, as soon as they could. Yeah, Tupac's songs are good though. Yeah, the movie All Eyes on Me. I don't think it's the great. It's kind of the same issue with the Lords of Chaos film. There's a lot of stuff there's some stuff they get right, but there's a lot of it they get wrong for the sake of the film. Come on. That's okay. So that's kick. That's one. I need 3 bars. Oh, that's my issue. Okay. The problem is this is 4-button fighter. The light punch, medium punch, like kick, heavy kick. And my issue is that I usually have a certain button thumb to block for certain games like Dead or Alive. So my memory is trying to press the block button when it's not going to work. Because that's the kick button. So I have to make sure not to tap that by accident. Come on. Come on. There we go. So about Eminem, he is talented. Eminem is talented, but again, Eminem is what happens to most bands. They have a drive. They kick ass. They take names. They get comfortable, and because they kind of either lost their drive because there's no more determination, or they were fighting against the odds. Like I'll show you this. I'll show you that. And what winds up happening is that because they conquer all those things, there's no reason for them to keep going anymore. And then you turn to bands like Iron Maiden or Slayer, where they just do the same album over and over and over again because their fans like it. But unlike Maiden, Slayer actually, except for 2 albums, was the fucking epitome of consistency. The only 2 was an experimental album and the last album, and that's because the other songwriter had died. No. Come on. It's a case of... Come on. No! Fuck! No! There was some minor special shit! Oh, I forgot, this is all this complicated input. You can use to cancel specials, but it's harder to input to cancel than it is to actually cancel the move. Good rapping is like Charles. No one can rap to. You can't rap. They don't understand you. It's about adding that texture by making it interesting. Yes, that is right about the texture. The other thing is, what textures are you willing to put up with? Textures are like flavors. Sometimes you can learn to adapt to a texture or a flavor, but some people just won't. Yeah, I mean, it's like Meshuggah. Meshuggah is a band that, for Gent at least, it's more about the time. It's the notes, the riffs are like two or three or four notes, but because the focus on it is much more about the timing and the groove than the melody. But the solos can be very intricate, but they're much more experimental, like avant-garde or more fusion kind of stuff. But if you compare that to glam metal, it's like trying to compare Christmas to Halloween. People love both those holidays, but they're very different parts. Yatai. Probably get like two more matches in. Let's see here. Then this favorite gent band is Mick Gordon. Well, you know Mick Gordon actually hung around Frederick Tordenal, the guitarist in Meshuggah, a lot, right? And that's where he got the influence from it. And just keep in mind, say what you want about modern metal, but the fact that Meshuggah has innovated more in their 20-year career than most bands have ever done says something. Like, even the music snobs are like, hold up a second, they're onto something. That astounds me. Considering there's so many other quote-unquote snob groups for snobs that even those music snobs won't pay attention to, it's just like, oh, amazing. Oh wait, was it? King. But Mick Gordon's not bad, gent. Like he's above average gent, but he's fun, but I just don't like his stuff as much as other gent groups. But the best if you like gent, I recommend Tesseract because Tesseract is gent, but it's still very melodic. It's gent, but it's still very melodic. Meshuggah's the one who started it, as we spoke. What the hell's it called? What's it called? Fear Factory, 90s Fear Factory, especially Demanufacture, the one they used for the Mortal Kombat movie. There's lots of gent elements in that, but it's very industrial because they took it from them. Animals' Leader is pretty good if you like more melodic stuff, but you gotta be willing to accept it's 3 8-string guitars and not a bass player on there. And the other one that you might like, there's one more. Periphery Bulb, they're pretty cool. They're good, but their covers are interesting. Like it's their style, but it's like don't expect the original. Yeah, he got the 9-string. Yeah, but Meshuggah only used 8 strings after 2004, I think. Go on. Thomas Hawk is an amazing drummer. Yes, the Meshuggah song "Bleed." I know it's overrated. Well, no. The first half of that song is overrated because that's the only one everyone listens to. But that song is so stupidly complicated that Hawk chose to relearn how to play the entire drum set. Fuck, I didn't get a chance to do the special. Damn it. Korn has a lot of gent elements, but it's outright and industrial. Weird you say that because Korn isn't actually industrial. Korn and Deftones were the first two nu metal groups. Look, I mean, but to be fair, was the bass player like down tunes like his lowest B string too? So it makes just noise, so it sounds like a drum. Yeah, Korn's pretty cool. I mean, early Korn was pretty cool when they were interesting. I thought this kind of again the issue with most bands past the point. With most bands, actually, after their 5th album, or 6th album usually, at that point, it's usually just a case of they stopped experimenting and you just like them and you just keep going. Doom soundtrack, like familiar stuff, dude. Meshuggah's discography, if you haven't done I'll send you a remastered version of the Chaos Sphere album. That one is it's more like thrash with gent, but that's pretty much what it is. If you want a more industrial elements, there's one I can't remember the name of, but I'll fucking find it. I'll send it to you. Yeah, Korn and Deftones were the first two nu metal groups. But what happened with nu metal, just like grunge, there was potential in the beginning, like Alice in Chains and Soundgarden, but everyone just latched onto those because they were easy. because you can say what you want about glam metal, but there were so many glam metal bands that we don't even remember, because at the time it was the easiest pop metal you could get your hands onto. It was easier than playing other shit, that's for sure. And I'm not talking about the great players. I'm not talking about those great $1 million acts that are still around. I'm talking about the ones that faded to obscurity because they were also a dime a dozen. They looked like this guy. They looked like Benamara. Okay, last match. I hope we can get this down. I will probably regret this. Oh my god, he looks like freaking was it Butthead? I think it was. Yeah. Butthead. Last one. How do I want to end this? Weird. There you go. Mick Gordon composed for Killer Instinct. There's the problem with Killer Instinct soundtrack in terms of the gent is that it's more all over the place. Like there's some rap songs, there's some metal songs that's not gent. There's orchestral stuff. There's a lot. That music is very diverse. Like if you want to show that Mick Gordon is a good composer, don't use that one. The fact that there's like over 8, I mean, he even has a traditional Japanese style song for Sadako, and it goes and follows the Japanese music. Like it follows the traditional Jap folk music conventions. Because Mick Gordon, when he tries and he's allowed to do whatever he wants, he will go the extra mile. What the fuck? Oh my god. No! Why did I lose? Why did I pick this motherfucker? Settle down, Beavis. Come on, get out the kick. Oh! No! I gotta win these two. Come on. Yeah. Oh yeah, Venom Strike. I'm gonna send you a traditional, a neoclassical with some industrial elements, but they have this Middle Eastern vibe and Egyptian vibe, and it's great stuff. Like that's a band that does the traditional metal. Oh damn, that's really good. Come on. Whoop, nope. Hey lady, you're gonna have to buy me lunch. The great Cornholio has won! He is victorious! Yeah, and so Angel lost to the great Cornholio, and so he has to buy her lunch. Well, again, thanks guys for putting up with me for 2 hours, man. I'll try to do this a bit more often in the future. Maybe not on this channel, maybe a new YouTube channel, but yeah, I'll let you guys know. Thanks again. Nighty.